Hey there, Parker Reed here, and welcome to PR Media, your home for everything movies and music through my eyes. And today we have a review of the new movie Godzilla vs. Kong. Kong and his protectors undertake a perilous journey to find his true home. Along for the ride is Iya, an orphan girl who has a unique and powerful bond with the mighty beast. However, they soon find themselves in the path of an enraged Godzilla as he cuts a swath of destruction across the globe. The initial confrontation between the two titans, instigated by unseen forces, is only the beginning of the mystery that lies deep within the core of the planet. It's no mystery that I've been looking forward to Godzilla vs. Kong for quite a long time. Godzilla is one of my favorite characters to ever come across the big screen. I've loved every movie in the MonsterVerse so far, being Godzilla King of the Monsters, Kong Skull Island, and especially 2014's Godzilla. I really enjoyed the realistic tone of that film and the soundtrack and just everything. It was a phenomenal movie to me. And especially during this pandemic, I've been really looking forward to this movie. Everything's been getting pushed. Everything's been getting moved to streaming services. It's just been a hellfire, a hellstorm of things getting canceled. But Godzilla vs. Kong is finally in theaters. I saw it in a theater, and I saw it with one of my good friends, so let's talk about Godzilla vs. Kong. An important aspect of this movie is that you go in with your expectations in the right place, because at the end of the day, it's a movie about a big lizard punching a big monkey. That's all this movie's about. And in this film, there's two big fights between them. There's one at sea that's in the trailers, and there's one in the end that's also in the trailers. I think the first one in the water is a little bit of a disappointment because Kong just isn't that good in the water, so Godzilla clearly has the advantage. But at the end, when they're both in the city, they're both on equal playing ground, and that was very satisfying. And that entire last fight is super epic. There's a lot of gravitas, and I really enjoyed it. And another positive aspect of this movie is the CGI is pretty phenomenal. Sure, some of the characters, especially Godzilla and Kong, do some things that they wouldn't have done in the other movies because they couldn't move like that, but it's all well done, it's all well rendered, and it's pretty realistic when you put aside the fact that it's a big lizard and a big monkey. But an important aspect of this movie I think people need to know going in is it doesn't have the same sort of tone as King of the Monsters and Godzilla especially. It's much more sci-fi heavy, and it sets aside the more realistic aspects of the MonsterVerse, because the first couple of films felt like, okay, what if Godzilla showed up in San Francisco nowadays? What would that look like? What would that feel like? And that's how the movie takes place. This feels more like, okay, we finally got these two characters established in their own movies. Let's put them together and we'll add a bunch of weird sci-fi tech that the humans didn't have before and add this weird hollow earth part in the middle of the planet. That felt a little bit nonsensical. That felt a little bit 90s. So that was a bit of a weird switch. I think if this movie just came out by itself, I would have taken it a bit more seriously because the previous entries set up a different tone. But this tone works fine if you just forget about those movies. But a glaring issue in Godzilla vs. Kong is another glaring issue that was in all the other films. Human characters are just there to cut away to during big action scenes to get human reactions and have the audience relate to them. That's the only reason they're there. A big portion of this movie is devoted to Millie Bobby Brown's character, who was in Godzilla King of the Monsters, basically just trying to get exposition for the audience. That's the only reason her character and that entire plot line exists. It doesn't add up to much. They don't affect the plot, and if you took out that entire 45 minutes of cutting away to them and this weird podcaster guy, then the movie would have been almost exactly the same. But the music in this is awesome as well. Junkie XL does a great job on the soundtrack. Sure, some of the music feels a little bit overly epic. Sometimes they're doing something that's kind of perceived as mundane, but there's music that's like, oh, grand, oh, and you're just kind of like, oh, I don't know why they're freaking out. They're just kind of walking around. So that was a bit odd to me. But overall, I just kind of turned off my brain for this movie. It's Godzilla vs. Kong. It's not supposed to be Citizen Kane. It's not supposed to be this big think piece. It was just a fun movie at the end of the day. That's why I'm giving it a solid 7 out of 10. It's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to win any Oscars, but it is a fun time at the theater, and I recommend you see it at a theater. Don't just watch it on HBO Max. Sure, you can rewatch it on there, but just try and go out and see it in a theater. Theaters really need our support nowadays, and I think this is a solid movie to go out to the theater and see. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw here, you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram, and like, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. My name is Parker Reed. You've been watching PR Media. Keep supporting physical media, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.